Hi, third grade. Welcome to your language arts class for Monday. We have a good lesson prepared for you. And when I say we, I mean Tong Tong and I. As you can see, he's sleeping over there and he still has not taken off his hat. I can't get him to take it off. So if you have any ideas for how I can get him to take off his hat, please let me know. Okay, you need for today a pencil, your workshop, which has your story in it, and a writing notebook. All right, we are going to talk about our essential question for today. We'll talk about the genre for our story. We'll ask and answer some questions. Then you're going to listen to the story and we'll talk about homework, which I think you're really going to like your homework assignment. It's pretty fun. Tong Tong helped me come up with it, if I am being honest. Okay, these are your new spelling and vocabulary words for this week. Both of these pages are in the Google Drive. I highly encourage you to print them out and look over them this week. So please be studying these words this week. Okay, our essential question for this week is how can problem solving lead to new ideas? So if you want to look in your workshop, there's always kind of like an introduction page or an opening page to our lesson. If you want to go to page 66, we're learning all about inventions and new ideas this week. So, our question that I want you to think about: what inventions can you think of that have made your life better? For instance, if you're, let's say Mrs. Smithern has a cup of coffee and it got cold. Do I just have to throw it away or make a new cup or put it in the sunshine and hope it gets warmer? No, I have a microwave. I can put this in the microwave, push a button, and it makes my drink hot. That's a pretty cool invention, and it definitely makes my life better. So, can you think of any? I found a funny picture of some inventions that are pretty silly, and I wanted to show you. So, this one is keeping her shoes dry on a rainy day. And this keeps your ramen cool as you eat it. But I think my favorite is the butter that looks like a stick of glue and you just put it on the bread. I think that's pretty funny. So, you are going to think of some inventions for your homework tonight. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Okay, now you should have your writing notebook. I want you to turn to a new page, and this is your title: Ask and Answer Questions. Today's date is 3/30, March 30th. Here is the first question that I want you to copy down. We ask we ask ourselves questions as you read, then look for details to support your answer. So, this is the first question I want you to write down. Question number 1 is the answers on page 73. What problem did Mary need to solve? Now, we haven't read the story yet, so don't worry. I don't want you to try to find the answer now. We have to read the story first. Just copy down the title. You don't need to copy this sentence right here. And question 1, page 73. What problem did Mary need to solve? Okay. Question number 2, on page 74. How did Mary's invention work? So these are the 2 questions that I want you to answer when we finish our reading today. So we are going to be learning all about Mary Anderson, who is a very creative, important woman. Now, let's look at this picture. Does Mrs. Mathern dress like that? No. Does your mom dress like that? Maybe your grandma? Probably not, though. So we can tell that this is not written today. This person lived a long time ago. This is someone who lived in the past. So we can tell that right away just by looking at the picture. Even look at her lamp. Does she have modern electricity? No. So our genre today is biography. A biography tells the story of a real person's life, but it's written by another person. So if one day you write a story about your amazing teacher, Mrs. Mathern, that would be a biography. Or if I ever wrote a book about Tong Tong, that would be a biography. Okay, let's get into our story for today. I'm going to play the story now. So I want you to go to page 70, where your story begins. And you can follow along with the reading as we learn about Mary Anderson and her creative idea.
You might think that a ride in a bus or car is the same today as it was long ago. That isn't true. The first cars were not as fast. They were noisy. Cars didn't even have windshield wipers. When it rained, drivers rubbed their windshields with an onion. The oil from the onion would repel or keep off rain and sleet. It wasn't the best solution, but there were no better substitutes. Nothing else worked. Then a woman named Mary Anderson solved the problem. It started with snow. Mary Anderson grew up in Alabama. In the winter of 1902, she went to New York City. It was a cold and windy day. The sky was a gray curtain. Snow was a white blanket on the ground. Mary was cold and wet. Because she wanted to warm up and get dry, she rode a streetcar. Back then, some streetcar windshields had two parts. They opened with a push. From her seat, Mary watched snow and ice build up on the windshield. The streetcar driver could not see. So he pushed open the windshield. This helped him to see better. As a result, snow and ice blew in his face. Soon his nose and ears were ice cubes. Other cars kept stopping too. Sometimes the drivers hopped out. They wiped off their windshields. Then they got back in and drove. As a result, traffic moved slowly. The next step. Mary thought about this problem. How could drivers clean their windshields without stopping? Could they do it without opening their windshield? Back home in Alabama, Mary sketched her idea. Then she added notes. She wanted to examine her solution to make sure that it worked. Next, Mary did her own investigation. She looked for facts about what drivers needed. She invented a windshield wiper that a driver could use from inside the car. Then she worked out a design or plan. On paper, Mary's invention looked simple. She hoped drivers would find it easy to use. Mary Anderson's windshield. Mary had a model built. It was made of quality wood, rubber, and metal. Soon the model was ready to test. It was fitted on a windshield. The driver moved a handle inside the car. The handle caused a blade to move back and forth across the glass. It worked. Mary's idea was a gem. She felt encouraged and was sure it would sell. Solving the problem. Mary's windshield wipers solved a problem, but it took many years before people used them. That's because most people did not own cars. By 1913, more people bought and drove cars. Those cars had windshields. Finally, windshield wipers began to sell. Driving became safer and easier because of Mary Anderson's idea.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the story. I think it's really interesting, and I really like the drawings. I think the drawings in this story are very beautiful. Okay, let's look at those questions. Question number 1. What problem did Mary need to solve? I want you to pause your video now and see if you can find the answer to this question on page 73. Please pause your video and answer the question now. Okay, Hopefully, you answered the question. Now, this is the answer that I found. The question is, what problem did Mary need to solve? The problem was, how could drivers clean their windshields without stopping? That was the problem that Mary needed to solve. Question number 2. How did Mary's invention work? Go to page 74 now, and please find the answer, write it carefully in your writing notebook, and then come back here to check your answer with mine. Pause your video now. Okay, question number 2. It was made out of wood, rubber, and metal. It was fitted on a windshield. The driver moved a handle inside the car. The handle caused a blade to move back and forth across the glass. So you needed to answer everything about how her invention worked. Now, you could have left out the part about what it was made from. I thought it was important, so I included it in my answer. Okay, pause your video now. Make sure that your answers are similar or the same as mine. Okay, that brings us to our homework. So today for your homework, you need to think of a problem. Can you solve it with a new invention? And then please print out vocabulary and spelling pages to practice. Now let's look at our Class Dojo portfolio assignment. These papers are in your Google Drive. If you don't have a printer at home, you can just take a blank piece of paper and make a box. You're going to draw a picture of your invention in the box. Then, on the second sheet of paper, you need to tell me what your invention does. What problem does it solve? What can it do? How does it help you? Okay, so that's your homework. Now remember, homework like this, you have all week to do it. Things like our grammar workbook or spelling workbook, we might check those the next day. So you need to do those the day that I assign them. But this, you can wait and do this a different day of the week as long as you turn it in by Friday. Okay? Have fun with your assignment. Take your time, do your best, and come back tomorrow. I'll see you for tomorrow's LA class. Bye.